Do I have to say it's going to continue for 20 years? I don't. If I think it's going to continue for 4 years, good enough for me. You know what I mean? Now, I do happen to think it's going to continue for much longer than 4 years, but let's not even have that discussion. Let's just focus on the next 4 years. Do I think Bitcoin price is going to be over $100,000 in the next 4 years? 100% I do. Well, okay, if you're an investor and you have an asset that you have very high confidence that's going to do a double in the next 4 years, well, you probably want to allocate a significant amount of your money to that investment. And that's really kind of the way I'm practically looking at this as an investor. And I think it really should give you confidence that you want to hold this asset over the long term, and you want to hold not just 1% or 2% of your net worth in it, but something much more substantial.
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now, guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. In today's video, Fred Krueger, we learn about the power law, how it works, and the power around this model. Fred Krueger dives into his Bitcoin's price prediction. He explains how this mathematical concept can help us understand and potentially forecast Bitcoin's future value, and more.
Jim Bianco makes a point, like somebody in their 60s or 70s, let's say 70s particularly, right? And they're looking at something like, the NASDAQ in 2000, right? Well, they're like, I can't wait 10 years to get my money back. I might need my money in 5 years or 3 years or 4 years, right? So I think the real question, and a lot of investors like this, is not what Bitcoin going to do in 20 years, because they might not even be alive in 20 years or 30 years, right? I think the question they have is, how long is this thing going to take realistically for me to at least get my money back, and sort of under the worst case, or to get part of my money, not a lot of my money back. Right? And I think the power law kind of quantifies that, right? So, and I think if you really understand this power law, you realize that, the chance of this thing completely breaking down for a period of 4 years or more is probably pretty low, right? So I would say you can be more confident than you might otherwise be by looking at this power law. That's it. Now, as far as, I'm not saying this is a trading tool. I mean, you could use it for trading, but I think a lot of people are just using it for position sizing. How big should you be, right? Now, if you're very young and you're starting out in your investing career and you're just doing DCA, you don't need the power law, right? You can just sort of put all your money into Bitcoin. You like Bitcoin, great. It's going to do well. If you've got some kind of a more of a finite time frame, let's just say 5 years or less, then you kind of need to have a little bit of a sense of the risk on the downside. That's what I would say.
Bitcoin whales took full advantage of the crypto market slump earlier this month, accumulating 71,000 Bitcoin amid the fastest rate of Bitcoin stacking since April 2023. Much of that Bitcoin, worth $4.3 billion at current prices, was scooped up when Bitcoin retraced to $54,200 on July 5, a chart from cryptocurrency analytics firm Block shows. CryptoQuant notes that Bitcoin whales have now been stacking Bitcoin at the fastest rate, on a 30-day moving average, since April 2023, shortly after several local banks in the U.S. collapsed. This suggests that the bottoming out of BTC may be nearly complete. CryptoQuant analyst Minkyu Wu added in his separate X post. Meanwhile, smaller traders have been selling off their bags during the current dip, noted cryptocurrency analytics firm Santiment. Santiment also observed a 261 net increase in the number of Bitcoin wallets, holding at least 10 Bitcoin over the first 10 days of July. This should give traders comfort in a long-term bullish future. it appears not all Bitcoin whales are planning to stack and hold low. One dormant Bitcoin whale woke up on July 14 after a 12-year hiatus, transferring 1,000 Bitcoin worth nearly $60 million to two new wallets, according to Whale Alert. Mt. Gox preparing to offload $8 billion to its creditors, and the German government selling nearly 50,000 Bitcoin, worth $3 billion, have largely fueled the price slump, industry pundits say. However, Bitcoin started showing signs of a price recovery over the weekend, breaking the $60,000 resistance barrier and increasing 6% since trading hours closed on Friday. This included a sharp increase immediately after U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt while speaking on stage at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13.
I think that's where a lot of people are getting confused, right? They're sort of saying, well, the ship has sailed on Bitcoin. I need to get involved in dog coins, okay? And my point to you guys is there's still a lot of action in Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin could go up 30, 40% a year for the next 5 years, maybe even the next 10 years on average. And those are exceptionally great yields. You shouldn't be too greedy. Now, if you start saying, yeah, well, that's not enough for me, I need to go into dog coins. The problem is your, dog coins, they could lose 90% of their value in under a year. So it doesn't make sense to say, here's an investment that can give me maybe 30, 40% a year. And it's not good enough for me. I need to get 400% a year. And therefore I'm going to risk it all on something that's a really bad bet. And it's just going to crater my entire position. So I just think that's just bad. It's nothing to do with Bitcoin. It's just a bad investment ideology. And I made a post about this, which is, look, I think Bitcoin is not meant for making money per se. It's meant for saving the money that you have. So, you should look at it as you're going to be increasing your value and purchasing power of every Bitcoin you buy. That Bitcoin will buy you more house. It'll buy you more car. It'll buy you more food 10 years from now than it does today, right? But, maybe for 2-3 years, it buys you the same amount. Who knows? But it generally speaking, is a very good savings thing. And yeah, I do think it's going to buy you a lot more and it's going to do very well. But it's also has a very good downside risk, as the power law indicates. Now, if you go and you say, well, it's not good enough, I need to go complete degen. Well, I'm just saying that it's not smart, right? You should not go into the worst, dog coin that you can find just because you want massive volatility and you want to shoot for the moon. So I'm okay with what Giovanni's saying. I'm okay with doing some trading around using the Bitcoin power law or whatever you want to do. What I'm not okay with is you taking your money and just putting it on, on the number 22 on roulette, because you're going to lose probably.
How much Bitcoin do you need to be a millionaire by 2025? If we're predicting that Bitcoin's price will surge to at least $120,000 by 2025, this estimate draws from Bitcoin's historical performance, typically 12 to 18 months after having events. We believe this price point is a conservative target, assuming consistent demand for BTC. Presently, Bitcoin trades at around $62,000, having dropped 11% over the past week. Despite this short-term decline, we stressed that the lower price presents a buying opportunity. Based on the $120,000 outlook, we calculated that investors would need to hold only approximately 8.33 BTC tokens to become millionaires by next year. However, achieving this goal comes with a hefty upfront cost. Specifically, the required 8.33 BTC tokens necessitate an initial investment of approximately $487,500 at the current price. This substantial outlay can be a significant barrier for the average investor. As a result, we suggest that alternative cryptocurrencies offer a more accessible route for average investors to achieve millionaire status during this bull run. And do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoin Seller. The most important news will reach your inbox on a daily basis and for free. I do not know why you have not subscribed yet. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more daily updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you on your financial journey. Until next time, happy investing.